So today is June 20th, 2018, and the horrors of the children are continuing. In fact, this morning in Michigan, it was reported that in the middle of the night, 2 infants were delivered for foster care from the border. They were age 8 months and 11 months, I believe it was. Now, I want somebody to explain to me how an infant how it's going to damage this country, and why would you think that child is not going to want a lot of answers when it becomes an adult? I mean, this is ludicrous what we're doing. More importantly, the physical, emotional, and psychological damage we're causing all these children that we're doing this to. We are responsible as citizens of this country to not produce any more harm. And yet we're doing the exact opposite. Every one of these children are going to have some side effect, some kind of mental health issue, some kind of physical health issue, just from the overabundance of adrenaline their little bodies are trying to handle. And behavioral, there's going to be an enormous behavioral shift. It's sort of interesting to me that the Cheeto-head president we have, who has a wife who has questionable and very questionable certifications, and she became a citizen under questionable reasons, and then her parents have become citizens with questionable reasons or questions attached to them. What would happen if this scenario goes on and there are ways to revoke a citizenship, that the first lady has her citizenship revoked, so her child is sent to a country that he doesn't speak the language, because that's the policy we do here now. We put children in where they don't even know the language, the terms or anything. And how would the citizens feel about that? Would they think that we are this horrible, abusive country? What about the country the child would be sent to? I mean, what country is she from? Is she not from a country that was under communism? I mean, her dad was a registered communist, so why do we think that when a family is coming here, or a mother, or even sending, can you imagine having to make the decision to send your child by itself to a foreign country just to save your child's life? And now you find out these children are being shipped all over a country that they don't know the language. They're being, I feel, is a form of brainwashing, because they're being brainwashed, that they're going to see their parent again. But it's turning out, according to our federal agencies, that most of these children will never be reunited with their parent. So we have made them orphans. I mean, come on. We are now the nation of orphans. We are now the nation that makes orphans. And we're going to wonder why in 15 years, 20 years, these children want revenge. And I mean revenge. Because let me tell you something. If we keep the numbers up, we're going to have a complete army of young kids who are going to say, excuse me, where are my parents? Where am I? Who am I? They've even lost documentation of who these children are. And the fact that we've lost over, I don't know, 1,500 or more children, that the U.S. government has lost them, totally lost them. And we're supposed to be, give me your tired, give me your poor. No, because apparently we make them slaves. We let them be put into situations that are damaging. And then the whole irony is what it costs us citizens, for these children to be warehoused in a concentration camp. And that is what it is, folks. Those are concentration camps. Because military people who'd served in Texas have been online saying that they were in the best physical condition they'd ever been in. And they fainted and passed out from the heat and the heat stroke. And there's doctors who've said the same thing. And the so-called smart ass remark is, well, don't they come from a warm country? Well, excuse me. Their country is set up in a completely different zone for humidity and temperature and that. And they're going into Texas, which is a desert in some respects, but high humidity. And you're putting them in canvas tents. At least in their own country, they were at least in homes, you know. And the other issue is the stress level makes it even harder to adapt to this kind of weather. Are these kids ever going to survive without damage? I don't believe they can. I think that this damage is going to be so lifelong, and I also am concerned about they have become children without a country. They don't have a citizenship anywhere because we have taken them from their parents who had been citizens of one country at least. So there was some identity there, but we're not making these children citizens. So they have become, we are forming a whole new country, I guess. And I guess it's going to be called the Children of Homelessness. And we've already got one of the worst homeless populations in the world in the United States, which we used to be one of the most powerful countries. And now we are being downgraded to being, Amnesty International said we're as bad as any other dictatorship and country. How do we in our own human brains justify having this kind of damage going on and not thinking, oh, this has to stop right now? Well, think whatever deity you believe in, there are people who are objecting, but it has taken some real big time for it to happen. And the thing that is the saddest to me is how long it's taking the churches to finally say, put a stop to this, stop this, stop this, stop this. I mean, even today, there was a thing for the Latter-day Saints that they're saying is not acceptable. The Methodist Church is suing Sessions for his child abuse. The Baptist Convention is going, we're getting away from these white supremacist entities and that. The Catholic Church, the bishops and the archbishops and the Pope, even the Pope. But you can say all you want. You can do all you can. If there's no action, it's just air. It's just you're blowing air up somebody's ass, folks. The people that have become so radical, so racist, so abusive, it makes me concerned about what's happened to the DNA here in the United States. Have we bred out decency and kindness? Have we bred out having love for your neighbor? Have we bred out having acceptance? And let me tell you, the people that claim, it's okay for them to have the kids there and blah, 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 because we've lived for 7 generations here in the state. I got news for you folks. You're all immigrants. Every single one of you are immigrants, especially in Texas. And let's be honest, Texas was Mexican until we fought a war. But the reality of this is also, so was Arizona. So was California. Missions were there way before we existed. So, when we so-called white Americans claim make America white again, oh, I'm sorry, folks. You're up the creek without a paddle, because this country wasn't white. This country had Native American heritage, and we stole it from them. This country is made of immigrants. Unless you're a Native American, which, by the way, does include Mexican, you know. I mean, they were indigenous here. Then you're all immigrants. Every single one of us, including me. My family came in from Ireland and Germany and England. We don't have a right to be here. So how do we make a decision as to who has the right to be here? You know, I was in Oklahoma when multiple nations had to sign a peace treaty with the United States again, down at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. It was a real eye-opener to me to witness all these tribes come together and make a peaceful, non-damaging decision to sign another 100-year peace treaty with the United States. Quite frankly, I don't know if I would ever suggest they sign another one again. We are lower. We're becoming lower than pond scum. Can you imagine what some of these other countries who we have so-called bullied into different wars and bullied into believing our system are sitting back there at home going, excuse me? You had a war with us? You're telling us you're these great democratic people? That's bull. That's bull. We're bullies. We have become the nation of bullies. We are one of the biggest bullies in the world. And we're going to get our comeuppance, folks. We're going to get our comeuppance in such a way that everybody's going to cry, pity poor me, I never saw this coming. Well, folks, you better watch. Because we have done this more than once. And we're continuing to do it. We definitely do not learn from our history. And our history sucks. And I'm telling you, there are people who I love and adore and I grew up with who are spinning in their graves over this repeat abuse and to take innocent children. I mean, we are lower than we even were with the Japanese, because when we threw all those poor families into internment camps, they went as families. They didn't go where the parent was kicked into one jail cell and the children were shuffled off somewhere. George Takei even says, at least I got to go with my family. Now, the Native American children were treated this way, where they were removed from their families and thrown into quote-unquote Indian schools to teach them the right way to live. My husband's family had aunts and uncles who were taken from their families here in the United States, in Michigan, and sent to the schools in the middle of a state. And those young gals were raped. They were used as slaves and whatever. It's so sad because we're doing it again. And there's already been one sexual predator who was a guard who's already sexually abused, like I think it was a 4-year-old child and their mother. So the deviants are coming out, and they're going to come out in force. And I think they've already come out, because if you lose as many children as they've lost, I'm afraid they're all in sexual trafficking with the sexual traffickers. Traffickers. There's the word I'm trying to think of. It makes me so mad I can't even say it. So people, please get rid of these idiots who are destroying our country. Find some people. Offer up your help. I mean, I'm not able to get out too much, but on the 30th of June, Pontiac is going to have a protest that we hope to be able to attend. It's wheelchair accessible even, so we're going to try. There are all over the country. Protesting does help. I know it's not a fix. I know it's not perfect. But if you get more and more people out there who could say, oh no, I'm not accepting this. This is not mine. I mean, I thought about these 2 babies that got brought here to Grand Rapids in the middle of the night, which is, by the way, how they're bringing the children in the middle of the night. They're flying them out of Texas and California and all the southern states, and they're bringing them up here for foster care. If it's such a good thing, why are we hiding it and flying them in the middle of the night? Well, this is my opinion. And so, as we all know, everybody has opinions, and they're just like assholes, and some of them smell better than others. But this is my opinion, and I am not afraid to tell you what I think. This is Megan Jean Sterling Bouchard. Actually, Reverend Dr. Megan Jean Sterling Bouchard. And this is my opinion. Bye.